Oh, Scrap Masters, it's a wonderful time to generate another random quilt block. Are you all ready? I certainly am. Let's get started. And that is right. Well, welcome back to So Well with Rob Appell. I'm super excited to have you here on my YouTube channel. Super blessed to be here generating this random scrap block of the week, as well as been posting several other fun videos. Here, some replays. Check out the playlist. If you haven't yet already, please subscribe. This is where I plan to do the rest of my video work here, as well as some wonderful collaborations with a bunch of my partners out there. So yes, if you're new to the channel, thank you again for being here. This is going to be super fun today. And you can see here from last week, if you were here, I've re-scrambled the blocks on the wall, still playing with this really fun situation that's developing between a couple of these. I think those are block 3. And then I believe this one down here is our block from last week. And every week I make a new block, it changes the way that the quilt can come together. As you can see here, this is 35 weeks, series 1, and I have that pattern available for you as well. Series 2 pattern available in the link, and that'll take you over to my website. I'm not super technologically sound, and so there it's a free download, but you have to go through my shopping cart. So anyways, help yourselves. It's super fun, super easy. 6 blocks, and we're going to generate one of them right now. Not forgetting there are some serious rules, folks. That is actually, there's one rule. And rule number 1, there are no rules. So here we go. Let's see what we're going to do this week. 6 blocks to choose from. The die will tell us. It's block 2. Oh, I don't feel like we've done many block 2s. This is exciting. Oh, the checkerboard block. I dig this one. Rad. Okay, what color are we doing today? Spinning the wheel. It's kind of a liner, but it's laying on the violet side, so we're going to call it violet today. So block 2 in violet. This is a 20-sided die. This is going to tell me how many of the different fabrics from the golden tray of treasure we'll be working from today. Oh my goodness, is that misplaced? I knew it would be. Lots of scraps, and of course, I'll also try to integrate in my Groundworks fabrics. I apologize, I don't have my fabrics yet on my website, working towards that as well, but I've been off having some fun adventures we'll talk about as we're sewing today. Ooh, I like that. With the quick lip bounce, we have 16 fabrics to choose from, which is going to make this checkerboard even more interesting. So I'm just going to start pulling. Not only this is my violet here, which I'll use as my light tone, and I think I'm just using half square triangles today, which is a benefit so I don't run out. And then we're going to need some darks and mediums. And so let's see here though. I think just to be fun, I want to integrate this new fabric. So I'm actually going to consider both of those fabrics the same as the light. That's 2 of them there. And then I want some serious pop. And you know how I love my green against my purple. And I think even maybe some more. The quilt's reading very orange, so why not throw some orange against the purple or the violet? That's really cool. That's more on that blue side of the purple range. How many fabrics are we dealing with now? 2, 3, 4. There's actually 2 yellows in there. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That was that other light yellow. Sure wish I had a little more greens. Ooh, what if we did this instead? That's only 3 fabrics. What if I brought in this series? Oh, I really like that one. Okay, and that gave me a few more fabric choices as well. So once again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do we go as far in there? Yeah, 13. Still pushing. We don't have to push super hard. Burn up that one. That would be 14. Don't really have any more good violets to integrate into my, could I? Yeah, we call that in there 15. Now we're close. Let's toss this in for 16. Wow, lots of work, but lots of fun as well. So I think we've got our palette choice there. So let's go ahead and get ready to break down our half square triangles first. For me, that's always the easiest way to determine what's going to be needed in here. And remember, it's a contrast game. So now I'm going to simply name each shade I see on my black and white free pattern here as one of my color families I see on my table. So again, what I'm calling my lights today are going to be my purples, my violets. And if those are my lightest, then I guess my highest contrast over here will then be technically my dark. So it's just going to be opposite. These will remain my mediums. So then of my light and darkest combinations, I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Somehow that doesn't seem right. I think it's 10. So let's just prepare for 5. So I'm going to take one of those, 2 of those, and 3 of these. Nope, deal with that later. Nope, sorry, that's 5 there. Let's go ahead and match those up. What we were saying is our highest contrast, and I'll try to choose kind of one from each here. Solid with a solid, print with more of that solid reading. This is going to give it a really nice distribution of the different fabric choices we've used as well. There. Okay, so these all become half square triangles. What else do we get to do now? Now let's look at the other shades, and if I'm correct, it should also be 10 of these. So now again, that's my lights with my medium. So that's going to be these combos down here. So if I need 5 different ones, let's definitely go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a really nice range. Do need to make sure I get this one used in here somewhere. Now I'm going to match again to my darks, the yellow, the dark ones here. Okay, those should also be the half square triangles. So how many do I need total? That should be what I've built for 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 18. So I probably have 1/2 of too many of each, which is okay. We're just going to keep on working through there. Now, as I like to also do, let's go ahead and set aside our squares. And again, of the squares, I do not have any of what I'm calling my lights today. So those will go back over here. Make sure this is getting hot for production there. And then of my mediums, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's a couple that have already been cut, so let's just use 2 of those. 3, 4, 5. Lining them up off this bottom corner, so it'll be just real easy to trim them down here in a second. So 6, 7, and 8 there. Let's do the same from our medium pile. We'll reorganize this on another day. So here's 1. I like this one, so 2. I like this one as well. There's 4. Get rid of that. No, we've already used it, so let's save it for another block. That would make more sense, right? So then I can just pull 2 of each of these. Ooh, and I realize I'm stacking it up as if I'm going to cut 8 in a row, so I guess I'm going to give it a whirl. Use my fat, heavy rotary cutter, see how that works. Let's get these out of the way. starting now making those square. I'm going to lay my 2.5 and my 2.5 inch mark on there. Setting my cutter for heavy duty today. Oh, no problem. Easy. Sharp blade goes a long ways. That's great. So those are prepped. Let's just finish these prepping. Setting those aside in the color family as well. And now let's go ahead. We are rotated our edge guide out of the way. I'm going to use my seam tape and my eyeball to go corner to corner, creating basically 2 seam lines, making 2 half square triangles each out of each of these sets of 3-inch squares. Everything's going to yield 2.5 inch units that'll be put together today. That's how this always works, and that's why the blocks are fun. You can mix and match them, have a blast with them. I do apologize. I got so excited about making the block. I forgot to mention, while I was telling you all to make sure you subscribed here, that please chat along with us today. If you're watching it Friday, we have it set for a premiere, the video. So you can chat and comment and hang out with a bunch of us that are always here on Friday afternoons, 2 p.m. Pacific. That makes it 5 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're now sharing the new brand, the new channel with all your friends, as I'm having so much fun actually out on the road teaching, engaging at the quilt guilds, doing all kinds of cool sewing expos and events and traveling. And once I've sewn a line across all of these little guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut them apart. I just like to use the edge of my sewing machine. There's a little thread cutter there, thread catcher at the moment. And just use that to manually cut those apart, real simple. And then I'm going to go ahead and rotate, again, corner to corner, now watching kind of the parallel line as I stitch. Super simple today, as it always is, and that's the fun on Scrap Masters here, is to just keep saving up your fabrics, building up your color palettes, working towards plenty of squares so it's fun and easy to grab and go. As you see me working through my color choices, I truly believe when you're being artistic, the quicker you work in making those decisions, the less stress your quilt making creates for you. Well, until you get to the free motion for a lot of us, right? Also, it just helps us be very, very creative and less analytical, I believe. That's what I'm trying to say. I can't even say it while I'm sewing. Go ahead and separate them all apart again. You know, I like to do everything one process at a time, making things super simple. And then what I'm going to do is using my slotted trimmer, the straight edge portion of it, just protecting my hands at the moment, really, cutting corner to corner here. And now what I'm going to do is, these again are supposed to be 2.5 inches square as half square triangles. So I've got this dotted line just above the thread, and I cut, and I like to kind of cut from the middle of the ruler out, and then I'm just going to manually, versus using the slots, it's just easier for me to go ahead and cut these like this. And as I trim all of these down, I was telling you all last week how cool it is that I've gotten my sewing sequoia almost set up, and I'm hitting the road. So actually right now, while you're watching this, I'm probably sitting tattooing and watching the video in Fallbrook, California. I had put out last week a request to meet some new folks and do some tattoos on them. And thank you. I had 3 opportunities, and I'm actually making this video a couple days early. So I've got 2 of the 3 of them already drawn and booked. And the 3rd one we're still discussing. So this is really exciting for me to see that portion of my art career take off as well. Thank you to those of you who are being so supportive of my tattooing. And I will be, like I said, up in Oregon, heading up to the Willamette Valley Quilters the 3rd week in March. And so hit me up, rob@robappell.com is my email if you're interested in talking about tattoos. And I'll be driving and giving myself a little extra freedom while I'm up on the road. And so you don't even have to necessarily be in that area. If we can get together, I would love to be able to leave my mark on you permanently. And so anyways, that's a lot of fun. And then I also want to share with you all some of these really cool pictures and video of, as I was saying, I got the Sequoia all finished up. Now the Sequoia was remodeled using a refurbished or I should say recycled quilting frame. So a Grace quilt frame that fit a machine of this size really was of no use to me anymore. I rehomed the machine and recycled the frame and made a really cool bed kit out of it. And basically, this is the quilt my friend Mary and I swapped a little trade Zeruti for me getting to quilt the quilt. And I did it on a long arm custom quilting style. And then really fun, went down and took pictures and video down at the place I love to surf, Morro Rock. And I just had a glorious day. And here's Avocado John, one of our local surfers and avocado farmers. And here's me telling the story a little bit. I think you'll enjoy this. Test out the surf. Look at this beautiful day. Here we are, Central Coast, Morro Rock. I know I shouldn't tell everybody, but look at that A-frame that just happened. Oh yeah, Avocado John, what's happening? Woo, give me a shaka. There it is. I tell everybody in the quilting world, use a shaka as the distance for their stitches to show them what a shaka is. 6 to 8 inches, perfect.
Mine's bigger.
Yeah, well, he's a tall dude. Look at that board he's got to ride.
1967.
Did you get some good waves?
Yeah.
It's so nice out again.
So killer.
3 days in a row, gotta love it. Yeah, this is what I do. And I wanted the sunlight. I actually traded the stitching on this quilt. I did not make the quilt, but I did the stitching on it. And the lady who had that gave me the aluminum. It was a quilt frame that I just rebuilt the back of the bed out of. So all of that metal back there was a quilt stitcher frame.
Like a table?
Yeah, but it was like a stand-up. Like, so you ride your machine like a jet ski? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Whoa. Well, I wish it was like a jet ski, but you have handlebars, you know. Doing the thing, yeah. Fire it up. Right on, man. Great to see you. Yeah, so isn't that cool how I was able to use some of my skills both in quilting and also in construction and fabrication to go ahead and make my ride a little bit better and Mary's quilt all finished up. So, and while I was doing that and telling that story, and of course, Avocado John, impressive, right? I've got us all ironed out, organized per color pile. So let's go ahead and just follow the pattern, work our way right back together. And instead of following these diagrams, these 5 here, I'm just really going to work the whole pattern at once, starting from the center out, where I'm going to need the half square triangles 2, and I'm always going to try to use different ones. So let's go ahead and use these 2 here, and then this one and this one. Let's go darker in the center, actually. Okay, so then that means in my darks are actually my purple violets there. Rat. Well, I'm seeing that I actually didn't lay out my colors as I said I was going to, right? Because once again here, I said that these, but I didn't, were going to be my medium and my dark, which should have been my blues and my violets together, and instead they're my blues and my yellows together. So let's just go ahead and see if we can work this out as we originally wanted to. And I'm going to actually, I think, see if I can, in my brain, for the half square triangles at least, we're just going to now use the lights as the yellow orange colors and see what happens here, which means then I will get back to what I thought was going to happen here. We're just gonna struggle through this here on video because I don't feel like remaking all the parts and pieces. That's the beauty in Scrap Master. So this will be another unique block even to the pattern itself. I'm pretty sure it will work. We may have to cut a few more squares, but squares are much easier to cut than the half square triangles. So stick with me. Let's see what happens here. Kind of flying by the seat of our pants as we usually do. Okay, so that being said now, though, I just need to determine on my way out if I said that these are now my darks. Yes, it looks like I'm going to need to make myself basically a bunch of the purple violet squares. That's a quick fix. I needed 8 earlier. I have 3 fabrics to choose from. So we'll do 2 of each of the non-Rob Appell prints. And then we'll do 4 of the Groundworks by yours truly here. We're going to line those all up because I did realize a moment ago I could trim them all off of a corner using heavy duty mode on my rotary cutter. So hopefully that gets us right back on target. And that is the beauty of quilt making, folks, is it really doesn't need to be any more overwhelming than that. You saw there was a moment where I'm like, oh my, I didn't make them right. But at the same point, because of this project, it's going to work together great. I've made a lot of quilts in my life. They're not all as out of control, and that's why I like to make these kinds of quilts now. I like having it be much more flexible, and I think you do too, and that's why, again, I'm so blessed you're here with me each week. Okay, so now these are going to be opposite. So we'll have one of those opposite, opposite. Okay, we're going to hang on to these. So then these ones become, we said we were going to go that dark. I think it's still going to feel a little bit better right there. Yep. And that kind of filled in the 2 squares adjacent to each of my middle places there. Okay, and then across this upper diagonal now, I'm going to place the ones that are of the green family with the yellow, and I'm just now watching the ones that were already there. And you can see they're going to kind of run in a fun line this way. Three of them total here. And then on the other side again. I think this is going to work, folks. I do. Okay, so it should be the same now for these. So up here, again, I need what would be from this dark family. Same with across the pieces. Easy. Okay, this is neat. Okay, I like this a lot. Let's mix these colors up a little bit more. Get that over there, there. So there's my layout, just to prove it can be done. A little heavier and darker than I expected, but I do like what I'm seeing here. So I'm definitely going to press forward now, and I don't want to swap out any of these yellow pieces or orange pieces. It'll just make, even though it would make it lighter, it'll mess up our design. So we're going to go ahead and begin sewing across the rows. Block by block. I like to lock in my edge guide just like that using my seam tape from before. I'm going to do each block building row after row, and then I'll press them all so that they nest accordingly at the end here. So just one block, back to my layout, double check, actually manage or marry my seam here, get ready to come over to the machine, do it again. Until all of the squares have been joined into rows. And that way I can double check everything before I begin pressing today. Okay, and as we have those last squares put into rows now, as you can see, I'm just double checking to make sure that all of my diamonds and checkerboards are working as I want them to. And now I'm going to go ahead and start pressing the rows in opposite directions so that my little square seams nest. So on this first row, I'm going to press basically everything to what'll be now to the left, not worrying about if it's pressing to the light or whatnot. Next row over, I just pick it up and spin it so that I actually am continually pressing in the same direction. It's just kind of habitual. I kind of hold it up. That allows the seams to get caught on the edge of the iron as I go. That makes for a nice flat seam. Then you just need to remember to bring it back into the proper orientation. So I've learned after doing this enough weeks now that the odd rows are what I'm calling organic or natural press. And then the even rows, starting from the bottom up, are the ones that are spun. So I don't even really have to keep track anymore. That's working pretty cool. Still not 100% convinced on my fabric choices with the use of the low volume neutrals. It's just reading kind of different than I expected, but I do like it. And when I say different, it's because I feel like there's some spots that are kind of almost dingy, from lack of better term, but kind of like that wonderful fabric Moda Grunge that's got, you know, dinge on brightness and stuff. I think that this quilt might be a grungy kind of quilt, even though I don't believe I have any actual grunge in this quilt. So I was talking double check, but that's right, because this is an even one, so it's going to spin. And then again, with just that 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm going to go ahead and marry these rows together. I like to work from the bottom up. Wiggle to nest that seam right back at the machine here. Now I will press after every seam that I create. And I guess I'm going to go ahead and press. I usually do press into the newer work. You can see that's the tip, so I could tell on this row. Kind of that bohemian feel, I guess. I love these colors. And so, yes, this week I did decide to do an early week pre-record before I head to Southern California in Sanford, that sewing Sequoia, because I really wasn't thinking about having the time to prepare a video because of the way that the guild presentation works out on Thursday and all of that. I'll be driving all day Wednesday. It's quite a drive for me. But then I also, like I said, was really excited. I have a couple of tattoos that I'll share with you all next week that I've been asked to do. And I'll be doing that on Friday and watching and chatting along with you all while that's going on. And then I will definitely be taking my little green machine, the Solar Power Singer here, on the road with me, and we'll do a couple, at least, hopefully a couple of Scrap Masters videos from the road while I'm traveling through the Pacific Northwest, middle of March, and that's going to be super fun. And again, the videos are coming out every Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Chat along with us. Let us know where you're at in the Scrap Masters project. Do you prefer the blocks from Series 1 or Series 2? What's been your favorite part so far? I guess my favorite part is learning each and every week, learning how, even like this week, how to work through what started to look like a kind of a color disaster. And I can tell you, as I'm pressing in these last seams, I actually really dig the way this block is turning out. It's going to be one of these blocks that will actually really help us bounce color throughout the quilt as needed. It's going to be one of these blocks that could probably go just about anywhere due to the color. And who knows how this quilt's really going to turn out, right? We shall see, with 15 more weeks of random block generation to go. Hope my scraps hold out. I'm pretty sure that the golden bin of treasure there will. Glad you all noticed that last week. That was really fun. Okay, here it is. Here's our block. Really excited about this. Like I said, different than expected, but it certainly is going to work. It's going to really be fun to drop it into the project, into the quilt over here, and see what happens. And like I said, thanks again for being here with me this fantastic Friday afternoon. Thank you to the Fallbrook Quilters Guild for having me down and letting me do my presentation and letting me teach a wonky log cabin workshop tomorrow, Saturday. We're going to have a blast doing that. So again, if you are watching and you have a guild somewhere here in the United States, I drive and or fly, and I love to present my trunk show and do a workshop or two. You can reach out to me, rob@robappell.com. It's the easiest way for me to get in contact with your board members and make sure that we can put on a wonderful event for you where we can teach something fun live and in person, because you know how much I love to hug on all of you quilters. And like I said, thank you again for being here. Until I can put my arms around you in person or see you in another video, folks, please stay well.